Welcome to Dreamy Tales, a place where gentle, relaxing stories will guide you into a deep sleep. On this channel, we'll be sharing soothing stories to help you unwind and forget the worries of the day. If you enjoy these peaceful moments, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and tap the notification bell so you won't miss any of our bedtime tales. Let's create a space of relaxation together each night. Now, before we dive into tonight's story, let's take a few moments to relax your body and mind. Find a comfortable spot to sit or lie down. Gently close your eyes and take a deep breath. Inhale slowly, feeling the fresh air filling your lungs, and slowly exhale, letting the tension in your body gradually melt away. Repeat this 3 more times. With each breath, feel yourself becoming more relaxed and ready to enter the magical world of stories. Now, loosen your shoulders, gently massage your face, and release any remaining tension. Pay attention to any areas in your body that still feel tight. Maybe in your neck, back, or legs, and gently let them relax. Next, we'll do a short guided visualization. Imagine yourself in a beautiful garden under the night sky, with the soft moonlight shining down. You can hear the rustling of leaves in the breeze, the sound of water flowing gently in the distance. Feel the cool breeze brushing against your face. Now that your body and mind are relaxed, let's step into tonight's story. But before we begin, remind yourself that you deserve these moments of relaxation, and let go of all worries as you listen to each word. And now, as you are fully relaxed, let's begin our journey into tonight's tale. Allow my words to guide you into a world of dreams and serenity. Relax and listen slowly. Hello, my dear friend. Welcome, welcome. Come in, make yourself comfortable, settle in. Let the worries of the day just gently drift away, like little clouds on a quiet, soft breeze. Yes, that's right. Find your most comfortable spot. Maybe you're already tucked in, warm and cozy. Or perhaps you're just winding down, finding a moment of peace before rest. However you are, wherever you are, know that you are welcome here. You are safe here, and you are loved here. Tonight, we're going on a journey together, a quiet adventure, a whispered tale of stars and starlight, of listening and understanding. Tonight, we will follow the path of the Star Whisperer. So, take a deep breath, a slow, gentle breath in. Hold it for just a moment, and release it. Slowly, completely, again. Breathe in, feeling the air fill your lungs. Hold, and breathe out, letting go of any tension, any stress, any thoughts that don't serve you right now. Just let them go. Good. Very good. Feel your body relax. Feel your shoulders soften. Your jaw unclench. Your hands rest peacefully. Your feet are calm. Everything is quietening down. Now, close your eyes if that feels comfortable for you. Or just soften your gaze. Look ahead gently and imagine. Imagine a place far, far away. Not on Earth, but among the stars. A place of gentle cosmic dust, of nebulae that glow in soft pastel colors, and of moons that hum the most peaceful lullabies. This place is called Celestia Minor. It's a realm of quiet beauty, not bustling, not loud, but filled with a soft, constant hum of cosmic energy. The light here isn't harsh. It's the gentle, shimmering light of distant stars, filtered through layers of iridescent gas clouds and reflected off the silent, sleeping surfaces of ancient asteroids. And In Celestia Minor lived our friend. Our friend tonight is named Lyra Stellaris. Lyra Stellaris. Say that name softly to yourself. Lyra Stellaris. It feels like a name made of stardust, doesn't it? Like the quiet song of a distant constellation. Lyra wasn't like everyone else in Celestia Minor. Most beings there communicated in soft hums, gentle light shifts, or the quiet rearrangement of cosmic particles. But Lyra could hear the stars, not just the distant collective hum. No, Lyra could hear individual stars. The young ones, just blinking into existence, sang high, sweet, slightly uncertain tunes. The middle-aged stars, the ones like our own sun, sang steady, warm, comforting melodies. And the ancient, wise stars, the ones nearing the end of their vast lives, sang deep, resonant, slow, beautiful songs, full of the wisdom of ages. This wasn't a loud noise. Oh no, it was more like a feeling, a vibration, a whisper that only Lyra could truly understand. Lyra lived in a small, quiet dwelling carved into a gentle, floating asteroid. It was surrounded by fields of luminescence moss, which glowed with a soft, sleepy light, and visited by gentle creatures like the fluttering nebula moths, whose wings were dusted with the colors of far-off galaxies. Lyra spent their days in quiet contemplation, listening to the vast, cosmic symphony that was usually silent to others. They would sit by the window, which looked out onto swirling clouds of pink and gold nebulae, and just listen. They learned the mood of the universe. They knew when a star was feeling particularly bright and cheerful, or when one was feeling a little tired and dim. Lyra was a gentle soul, very quiet, very observant. They didn't talk much, preferring the company of the stars and the silent, gentle creatures of Celestia Minor. They had soft, kind eyes that seemed to hold the reflection of countless galaxies. And when they did speak, their voice was as soft and soothing as the hum of a happy moon. Now, usually, the stars sang their songs, each one a beautiful, constant note in the grand cosmic choir. But lately, something felt different. The songs weren't as bright. The whispers felt fainter. It started subtly. A note that was usually clear became a little muffled. A star that always hummed a cheerful tune seemed quieter. At first, Lyra thought it was just a temporary thing. Maybe the stars were just having a sleepy day. We all have those, don't we? Days when our energy is a little lower, our voice a little softer. But the quietness, it persisted. And slowly, gently, it spread. The cheerful young star's songs became hesitant. The steady, middle-aged star's melodies seemed to waver, and the deep, resonant songs of the ancient stars, they were barely audible, like a distant echo. The luminescence moss around Lyra's home seemed to dim slightly. The fluttering nebula moths didn't flutter quite as vibrantly. A subtle, gentle sense of unease began to settle over Celestia Minor. Not panic, oh no, nothing so harsh. Just a quiet worry, a feeling that something was missing. Lyra felt it most deeply. Their connection to the stars was their heart, their soul. And hearing their songs fade, it felt like a part of Lyra was fading too. Lyra tried to listen harder, cupping their hands around their ears, leaning closer to the window, focusing all their gentle attention on the vastness outside. But it didn't help. The songs were just quieter. They felt a gentle nudge in their heart, a quiet knowing. This wasn't just a temporary quiet spell. Something was happening, something that needed attention, gentle attention. Lyra knew with a quiet certainty that they had to do something. They had to understand why the stars were quieting, and they had to help. This was the gentle conflict. Not a roar of battle, but a whisper of concern. A feeling that the cosmic balance was shifting, ever so slightly. Lyra, quiet, gentle Lyra, felt a quiet strength rise within them. They decided. They would leave Celestia Minor. They would journey out into the deeper parts of the cosmos to find the source of this quiet fading. This was a big decision for Lyra. They loved their quiet home, their familiar view of the nebulae, the gentle company of the moss and the moths. Traveling was, well, it was less quiet. It involved movement, uncertainty, meeting new beings. But the thought of the stars, their beautiful songs fading, that felt like a far greater quietness, a quietness the universe couldn't afford. So, Lyra began to prepare for their gentle journey. Preparation wasn't complicated in Celestia Minor. Lyra gathered a small pouch of luminescence moss, enough to provide a soft light in darker cosmic corners. They packed a few sweet, energy-giving cosmic dust puffs, and they wrapped themselves in their warmest, softest cloak, woven from the threads of spun starlight. Their home would wait. The luminescence moss knew how to glow softly in Lyra's absence. The asteroid was solid and safe. With a deep, settling breath, Lyra stepped out of their quiet home, onto the soft, spongy ground of their asteroid. The ground hummed a faint farewell. Lyra looked out at the vast, star-scattered darkness. It looked beautiful, but also a little lonely tonight. They whispered a quiet farewell to Celestia Minor. "I will return," they promised softly, "and I hope to bring back the stars' bright songs." Then, using their gentle connection to the cosmic currents, the invisible streams of energy that flowed between celestial bodies, Lyra began their journey. It wasn't like flying in a ship. It was more like drifting, floating, being carried along on a gentle, unseen river. The cosmic current felt cool and vast. It carried the distant scent of hydrogen and helium and the faintest whisper of ancient stellar winds. As they drifted, Lyra listened, trying to pinpoint where the quieting was strongest. Was it coming from a particular direction? Was it centered around certain types of stars? The deeper they went, the more noticeable the silence became. It wasn't absolute silence, not at all. The universe is never truly silent. There were still the hums of planets, the gentle crackle of cosmic static, the distant sighs of black holes. But the star songs, they were definitely quieter here. It felt like walking through a field where the flowers had closed their petals, or a forest where the birds had hushed their tunes. Lyra drifted past swirling nebulae, their colors muted, less vibrant than the ones back home. They passed fields of asteroids, their surfaces looking a little dull, not sparkling with reflected starlight as they usually did. And then, Lyra saw their first fellow traveler. Drifting slowly along the same cosmic current was a star snail. Star snails are very old, very wise creatures. They travel the cosmos at an incredibly slow pace, absorbing the light and wisdom of everything they pass. This particular star snail looked a little droopy. Its shell, usually shimmering with captured starlight, was dim. Lyra gently floated closer. "Hello?" they whispered softly. The star snail slowly extended its head, its wise, ancient eyes blinking even more slowly than usual. "Ah," the star snail said, its voice a low, slow rumble like distant thunder on a calm day. "Hello, Lyra. Yes, I thought I felt a presence approaching very gently." Lyra smiled gently. "Hello, wise snail. You seem quiet today." The star snail sighed, a sound like the very slow release of cosmic gas. "Indeed, young Lyra. The songs are fainter, the light less nourishing. It makes one feel rather slow, even for a star snail." "Do you know why?" Lyra asked, their voice full of gentle concern. The star snail blinked again, taking a long moment to process the question. "Knowledge is vast," it rumbled eventually, "and slow to gather. I have traveled far, and the quietness, it seems to stretch everywhere. Have you seen anything unusual?" Lyra pressed gently. "A change? A place where it started?" The star snail considered this, its ancient eyes gazing out into the distant stars. "There is a place," it said finally, "far ahead, where the cosmic currents converge, near the whispering cluster. The quietness seems deepest there. Perhaps the answer lies near that convergence." The whispering cluster. Lyra knew of it. It was a dense grouping of stars known for their particularly soft, complex songs. If the quietness was affecting them, that would be significant. "Thank you, wise snail," Lyra said, bowing their head respectfully. "Your slowness is wisdom." The star snail gave a slow, gentle nod. "Travel safely, young Lyra. Listen with your gentle heart." Lyra continued drifting on the cosmic current, their destination now the whispering cluster. The journey felt long, peaceful, and filled with a quiet determination. As they traveled, Lyra encountered other beings of the cosmos, also affected by the quieting. They met a family of comet kittens, usually playful and zipping around like streaks of light. But today, they were huddled together on a passing comet, their tails drooped, their purrs barely audible. Lyra floated closer. "Hello, little ones," they whispered. "Are you feeling all right?" The biggest comet kitten, a fluffy ball of silver cosmic dust, looked up at Lyra with large, sad eyes. "The chase isn't fun," it mewed softly. "The stars, they aren't sparkling properly. The comet feels less exciting." Lyra's heart ached gently for the little kittens. "I understand," they said. "I'm going to try and find out why the stars are quiet, so their sparkle can come back and you can chase comets with joy again." The comet kittens tilted their heads, a faint flicker of hope in their eyes. They purred a little louder, a fragile sound. Lyra gently stroked the nearest kitten's head, feeling the soft static of cosmic dust. "Keep hoping," Lyra murmured. "Hope is a gentle light in the dark." Further on, they passed through fields of sleeping planets, their surfaces usually kissed by cheerful starlight. But now the planets looked dim, their colors muted, as if they were dreaming sad dreams. A flock of aurora birds, whose feathers usually shimmered with all the colors of the northern and southern lights, flew by. Their display was faint, their calls were soft chirps of confusion. Lyra felt a sense of responsibility growing within them. The universe needed its stars to sing. Everything felt it. The star snails, the comet kittens, the planets, the aurora birds. Everyone relied on the stars' light and song in ways they might not even consciously realize. Lyra reached the edge of the region where the cosmic currents converged, just as the star snail had described. It was a place of beautiful, swirling energies, like a slow-motion cosmic ballet, and just beyond it was the Whispering Cluster. It was a breathtaking sight. Thousands upon thousands of stars gathered together, their light intermingling. But instead of a vibrant chorus of whispers, there was mostly silence. A profound, unsettling quietness. The stars here looked tired. Their light flickered uncertainly. Some seemed to be barely glowing at all. This was the heart of the quietening. Lyra drifted closer, their heart beating with a quiet resolve. They had to be very gentle here. These stars were sensitive. They were called the Whispering Cluster for a reason. Their songs were the softest, the most intricate in the known cosmos. Lyra approached the nearest star, a medium-sized one that usually hummed a gentle, complex tune. Now it was just a faint, flickering light. Lyra extended their hand, not to touch, but just to feel the energy, to listen with their unique ability. They closed their eyes, focusing all their gentle attention, and they heard it. Not a song, but a feeling of exhaustion. These stars weren't sad or injured or fading away permanently. They were simply tired. Lyra listened more deeply. They heard the collective feeling of the cluster. It was like they had been singing their soft, intricate songs for so long, without a moment's rest, that they had simply worn themselves out. Imagine singing a lullaby for millions of years without stopping. Even the most beautiful song would eventually feel like a chore, and your voice would grow tired. That's what seemed to be happening. The Whispering Cluster had been the cosmic lullaby providers for vast stretches of the universe, and they were simply in need of a nap. But they didn't seem to know how to stop, how to rest. Their cosmic nature was to sing, to glow, to be a gentle presence. Lyra opened their eyes. They looked at the tired, flickering stars of the cluster. They understood now. This wasn't a conflict to be fought, but a need to be met. A need for rest. A need for stillness. A need for a quiet break. But how do you tell a star to take a break? How do you teach a cosmic entity designed for constant output to rest? Lyra thought. They thought about their own quiet life in Celestia Minor. They thought about the importance of stillness, of listening, of simply being. They remembered the soft hum of their asteroid home, the gentle glow of the luminescence moss, the quiet flutter of the nebula moths. And then Lyra had an idea, a very gentle, very Lyra idea. They wouldn't ask the stars to stop singing. That wasn't their nature. But perhaps they could sing to the stars. Perhaps they could sing a lullaby for the stars. A lullaby designed not to awaken, but to soothe, to encourage rest, to give them permission, in a cosmic way, to just quiet down. Lyra took a deep breath. Their own breath, made of the gentle air of Celestia Minor and the vastness of the cosmos. They looked at the Whispering Cluster, their eyes filled with warmth and understanding. And Lyra began to sing. Their voice was soft, just above a whisper. It wasn't a loud voice, but it carried. It carried on the gentle cosmic currents, reaching out to the tired stars. They sang of quiet places, of soft darkness, of the beauty of stillness, of the strength found in rest. They sang of the gentle void between the galaxies, vast and peaceful. They sang of the cool, dark surfaces of sleeping planets, They sang the hum of their own asteroid home, a sound of solid, quiet presence. Lyra's song was woven with the feeling of deep peace, of permission to rest, of being held gently in the cosmic embrace. As Lyra sang, something began to happen. The stars in the whispering cluster didn't stop glowing. That wasn't the goal, but their flickering light began to steady, to soften. Their faint, hesitant songs didn't disappear, but they changed. They became slower, deeper, like the breathing of someone falling into a peaceful sleep. The collective hum of the cluster shifted. From a sound of tired strain, it became a sound of settling. One by one, the stars seemed to respond to Lyra's gentle lullaby. Their energies shifted. Their core temperatures ever so slightly adjusted in a way that indicated rest. It was like watching a vast cosmic choir being gently tucked into bed. Lyra kept singing, not just with their voice, but with their heart, their intent, their very being, pouring out waves of calm, of peace, of permission to rest. They sang for a long time. The cosmic currents around them seemed to slow down, participating in the collective quieting. Eventually, Lyra's voice became softer and softer, until it was truly just a whisper of gratitude, a whisper of peace, a whisper of, "Rest now, dear stars, rest." And the whispering cluster settled into a state of deep cosmic rest. Their light was still present, but it was the soft, muted light of sleeping fires. Their hum was still there, but it was the deep, peaceful resonance of gentle slumber. The quieting that had been a sign of exhaustion had transformed into a profound, healing stillness. The subtle unease that had spread across the cosmos began to dissipate. Lyra felt a quiet sense of fulfillment wash over them. They hadn't fixed anything by force or by changing the star's nature. They had simply listened, understood, and offered what was needed: gentle encouragement and the cosmic permission to rest. Lyra stayed near the whispering cluster for a little while longer, simply being present in the newfound cosmic peace. They felt the difference immediately. The cosmic currents felt smoother. The distant hums of other celestial bodies seemed more harmonious. Lyra could sense, even from this distance, that the comet kittens were starting to feel more playful again, that the luminescence moss back home was starting to glow a little brighter. The universe was slowly, gently beginning to reharmonize. With the whispering cluster settled into its much-needed rest, Lyra knew it was time to begin the journey home. They turned, and this time, the cosmic current seemed to welcome them back, carrying them gently away from the sleeping stars. As they traveled back, the journey felt different. The quietness they had felt before was gone. It was replaced by a sense of gentle cosmic tranquility. The planets they passed seemed to dream more peacefully. The aurora birds they encountered displayed a slightly more vibrant shimmer in their feathers. They eventually met the wise old star snail again, slowly making its way through the cosmos. "Hello, wise snail," Lyra whispered, their voice light with relief. The star snail stopped its slow drift, its ancient eyes opening a little wider than before. "Ah, Lyra, you return, and the silence, it feels different now. It feels peaceful, like sleep." "Yes," Lyra smiled gently. "The whispering cluster was just tired. They needed to rest. I sang them a lullaby." The star snail considered this for a very long time. "A lullaby for stars," it rumbled slowly. "A most gentle solution. The universe is grateful for gentleness. Lyra nodded, their heart full. Sometimes, they said softly, the quietest actions have the biggest impact. The star snail seemed to nod back, even more slowly than usual. Indeed, young Lyra, indeed. Lyra continued their journey, feeling lighter, brighter. They had faced a quiet challenge, used their unique, gentle gift, and helped restore a sense of balance to a part of the cosmos. Finally, Lyra saw the familiar, soft glow of the nebulae surrounding Celestia Minor. It felt so welcoming, so quiet, so home. Lyra drifted gently back onto the surface of their asteroid. The luminescence moss glowed brightly, welcoming them back. The nebula moths fluttered nearby, their wings shimmering with renewed vibrancy. Everything felt right again. Lyra walked back to their quiet dwelling. The inside was just as they had left it, peaceful and calm. They sat by their window, looking out at the stars, and they listened. The songs of the stars were back. Not all of them at full volume yet, no. The whispering cluster was still gently slumbering, their hum a deep, restful vibration. But the stars further out, the ones that hadn't been quite so affected, their songs were clear and bright again. The young stars sang with renewed, cheerful energy. The middle-aged stars hummed their steady, comforting tunes. And Lyra could hear the deep, slow, sleeping resonance of the ancient stars in the whispering cluster. A sound of profound peace. The universe was singing again. A little differently, perhaps, now that a whole cluster was taking a cosmic nap. But the song was whole. It was harmonious. It was healthy. Lyra felt a deep sense of peace settle within them. They had done what they needed to do. They had used their gift of listening and their gentle heart to help the universe. They realized something important during their journey. That strength doesn't always have to be loud. It doesn't have to be forceful. Sometimes the greatest strength is found in gentleness, in listening, in understanding, in offering comfort and rest where it's needed. That even the smallest, quietest being, like Lyra Stellaris, living in a quiet corner of the cosmos, can have a profound impact just by being true to themselves and using their unique gifts. And that sometimes the best way to help others is simply to give them permission to rest. To remind them that it's okay to be tired, that it's okay to pause, that stillness is not emptiness, but often it's where healing happens. Lyra continued their quiet life in Celestia Minor, listening to the stars. But now their listening was deeper. They understood the rhythm of the cosmos better, the times for bright song and the times for gentle rest. They knew that the universe, in its vastness, was like one giant, interconnected being. And every part, from the biggest galaxy to the smallest cosmic dust mote, had its role to play, its song to sing, and its need for peace. Lyra Stellaris, the Star Whisperer, lived on, a guardian of cosmic harmony, a champion of gentleness, a reminder that listening is a powerful form of love. And sometimes, just sometimes, on very quiet nights in Celestia Minor, if you listened with your heart, you could still hear the faintest echo of a lullaby sung by Lyra to the sleeping stars, a lullaby that whispered of peace, of rest, of being safe, and of simply being loved. Feel that gentle peace settling over you now, like the soft light of the luminescence moss, like the quiet hum of a sleeping planet, like the deep, restful silence of the whispering cluster. Feel yourself drift, Drift gently into that quiet space, into that place of peace, where the stars are singing their lullabies for you, and you are safe, and you are loved, and you can rest. Just rest. Let the sounds of the story, the images, gently fade now. Fade into the background of your mind, leaving only the feeling of quiet, the feeling of peace, the feeling of being held gently by the cosmos, by the story, by yourself. Everything is settling. Everything is quiet. Your breath is slow. Your body is heavy and relaxed. Your mind is calm. You are drifting, drifting, drifting into sleep. Sleep now, my dear friend. Sleep deeply. Sleep peacefully, knowing that you are part of this vast, gentle universe. A universe that knows the importance of song and the importance of rest. A universe that holds you gently. Sleep, sleep. Good night. Sweet dreams until our next quiet adventure. Sleep now.